Well, good morning to you, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Steve and Gabriella Collins coming to you from gorgeous, rainy San Antonio, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, purposeful coach and speaker in the world. I hope you guys are ready for this fantastic Friday, and I want to have a serious conversation with you this morning. A very serious conversation with you this morning. Now, I come down pretty hard and pretty heavy on the regular for those that choose to listen to these videos, and it is my belief that the reason folks listen to them and learn from them is because very few people are willing to have a hard or uncomfortable conversation with other people. When you don't have the hard or uncomfortable conversations with other people, you're basically choosing to enable victim behavior in other people, victim behavior in those closest to you, victim behavior maybe even in yourself. And so when you have an opportunity to have a hard conversation and you know the heart of the person having the conversation is to see you grow and improve, then you can take in the hard stuff. So we're going to have a hard conversation this morning. Are you and your family being stolen from? Is the question I would like to ask you this morning. Are you and your family being stolen from? Now, today is going to be a very quick lesson on the significant, palatable difference between faith and fear and how that shows up in a life to either deliver great things to you or rob you of great things. It was a year ago this week, for those of you that lived in San Antonio or South Texas, a year ago this week, that the state of Texas experienced Hurricane Harvey, which was devastating to Houston. It was devastating to Houston and to the coast and several Texas towns. When Hurricane Harvey hit, there was massive flooding. There was a lot of loss. I mean, lots of loss. And I want to share with you something that all of you experienced if you were in San Antonio this time last year. And it is a powerful reality of what the end goal of fear is. See, most of us walk around with a certain element of fear that prohibits us from becoming who we were created to become individually, not in comparison with other people, individually, not in comparison with other people. Who were you created to become? And let me tell you what that was. On social media and on the news, there was talk, and it was just talk, of a gas shortage. Now in San Antonio, we did not have a gas shortage. We didn't. Everybody started talking about it, and a switch was flipped. And the majority of the city went berserk and got gripped with fear and lack. Okay, think about this. Two things, fear and lack. Now, did we have a shortage of gas when this was being talked about? No, we did not. So, is what people were believing true? No, it was not. People were believing a lie. People were believing an embellishment. People were believing something that had not happened and wasn't the current state of affairs for gasoline in San Antonio. Yet what happened? When fear and scarcity showed up on a mass scale, the agreement of the hearts and minds and thoughts of the city came together and literally created the very thing that they were afraid of. It literally created a shortage of gasoline in San Antonio because everybody was in fear mode and in scarcity or lack mode. And the very thing that was not there that everyone feared actually became created by those who were fearful. Now, those of you may have remembered it. Some of you keep your gas tank full all the time. Some of you guys wait until you're literally rolling into the gas station on fumes, putting it in neutral, hoping and praying that you have a gust of wind behind your back. You know who you are. and depending on your habits with putting gas in your car, there were people who were afraid they wouldn't get their kids to school, afraid they wouldn't get the kids to practice, afraid they were going to be late to work, afraid they were going to be stuck on the side of the highway on the way home or in the morning. They were afraid because of conversation around lack that did not even truly exist. What is my point, ladies and gentlemen? Were people friendly during that season? Were people kind and loving during that season? generally speaking, at the gas pumps where the lines were 15, 20, 30 car long, where people like, hello, praise the Lord, sister, how are you doing today? That's so lovely. That's such a lovely car. How are you? Where people, oh, somebody's trying to come in and get gas. Let me get them in front of me. Let me be a blessing. Was that happening? No, it wasn't. The exact opposite was happening. You see, when people get wrapped up in fear mode or in lack and scarcity, they become extremely selfish, self-protective, because they waken up survival mentality. Now, many of you may actually be living in survival mentality, and this is a problem. You were not created to live in survival mentality, because you see, when someone is impoverished, when someone is in fear mode, gripped with fear, and when someone is thinking lack instead of abundance, they can truly only focus on themselves. It is a selfish state, if you will. That is why it is your duty, it is your responsibility, it is your one job to become as successful as you can become, however you define that for yourself, but not holding limitations back. Because you see, when someone thinks abundantly and when someone thinks with faith, then the very situation that may not be there actually can be manifested and show up, just like the gas shortage. People believed there was a gas shortage. They spoke that there was a gas shortage. They behaved as if there was a gas shortage, and it created a gas shortage. You see, the exact opposite works as well. When you believe by faith, when you speak by faith, when you're surrounded by other people with faith, you begin to bring things into existence that may not have existed, except the good stuff, guys. And you see, when you're thinking abundance and you're thinking faith, you know why it's so powerful? Because you start taking your eyes off of little old you and yourself, and you start being able to look outward, because now you have a sense that my needs are met, I'm okay, I'm gonna be okay, the good Lord's gonna take care of me, He won't do my part, I can't do His part, I'm gonna do my part, and I know He'll do His part. I'm all right, He's got this. Look at how He clothes the fields with these beautiful flowers. Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap and store in the barns, yet He provides for them. How much more important am I than birds? You know what? I can now look outward and be a blessing to others. Do you see the difference? We created an issue last year because we put our fear to work. And what was not there came about. Fear of the gas shortage, scarcity, worried about me, myself, and I. Everybody's selfish and crazy and out of control. And the next thing you know, ladies and gentlemen, we have this like psycho, madman, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome here in San Antonio, Texas, where everybody's selfish and crazy and out of control. Created by the fear and the lack mentality. Do you see now the exact opposite of that? When you have a faith mentality and you have an abundant mindset, now you can look outward and start making a difference for other people. I conclude with this today. Are you and your family being stolen from? You might not even be aware of the fact that there are things that are in your heart to do, dreams and goals that you have put on the back burner because you have convinced yourself or allowed other people to convince you that you don't have what it takes, you don't have the resources, you don't have the income, you don't have the relationships, you don't have the education, you don't have the, all these external things that put a condition on you being able to fulfill God's destiny and plan for your life. Those are all things that really don't matter when He's at the forefront. Do you understand what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? You have a duty, you have a responsibility to achieve the things that have been put in your heart by the good Lord from above, and to reawaken those hopes and dreams and goals that you know are available to you. Because like I've said hundreds of times before, your success and your growth and your development really ain't even about you. It's about those who are divinely appointed to your influence in your life. You see, as you go higher, all those around you go higher. And the opposite is true. As you stay stunted, as you stay in fear, as you stay in lack, as you stay in worry, as you stay in scarcity, you create that environment for other people around you. Are you and your family being stolen from because of fear? Well, my challenge and charge to you today, this wonderful Friday, is to ask yourself, examine yourself, ask yourself the hard questions. What am I afraid of right now? What would I do if God guaranteed me not only would I not fail, but I would succeed wildly? What would you do? What major choice would you make if God promised you you were going to succeed wildly and you wouldn't fail? Maybe think about that today. Put some faith to it and see how big your life can get. You guys have a great afternoon.